Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the grandest match of them all. It's the arrival of football in Latin America. The pitch is set, the energy is electric, history is ready to unfold, and the crowd is roaring for the beautiful game to make its entrance. And the ball is rolling. It all begins with the British merchants, sailors, and railway workers who bring football into Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, and Chile in the late 19th century. They're passing it around smoothly, setting the foundations for the sport's future. 10 minutes into the match, and Argentina opens the score. It is indeed the first ever recorded game in the country. And the leading charge, two Englishmen, Thomas and James Hawke, both born in York, organizing history on the pitch. It's June 20, 1867, at the Buenos Aires Cricket Club's field, at the site where the Galileo Galilei Planetarium stands today, where people gather to gaze at celestial giants, at distant suns that guide sailors and poets alike. Yet, in this very place, the grandfathers of footballing stars first danced under the same sky, chasing a different kind of glory. The match was originally scheduled for May 25 in La Boca neighborhood. We'll get back there soon. But Mother Nature had other plans. Heavy rain forced to postpone the match almost a month. The teams are set. Whitecaps versus Redcaps. Los blancos contra los colorados, distinguished not by jerseys, but by their headgear. Only 8 players per side, all British merchants. Seems they couldn't drum up a full squad, but hey, the show must go on. Fast forward to the late 1800s, and here comes a game changer. Mr. Alexander Watson Hutton, the Scottish educator born in Glasgow, arrives in Buenos Aires in 1882, creates the English High School in 1884, and boom, football gets woven into the fabric of Argentine education. But wait, there's more. In 1891, Alec Lamont, one of Hutton's school teachers, tries to launch in Argentina's first football league. It lasts just one season, but Hutton, the mastermind, isn't having it. In 1893, he co-founds the Argentine Association Football League, renamed Asociación Argentina de Fútbol in 1903, setting up a structured competition that would cement football's future. And what a legacy! Hutton's school team, later renamed Alumni Athletic Club, dominates the early years. More than 20 titles, the club closes in 1911. But by then, football fever has already gripped Argentina. There's no doubt, Hutton is the true architect of Argentine football. From schoolyards to stadiums, he laid the foundation for a footballing powerhouse. And the rest, well, just ask the Di Stefanos, the Maradonas, or the Messis. We are 15 minutes in, and Brazil joins the attack. Charles Miller contends the title of father of Brazilian football with Thomas Donahue. And straight out of the tunnel, here comes Thomas Donahue, the master dyer from the woven textile industry from Busby, Scotland. He lands in Bangu, near Rio de Janeiro, in 1894. And oh, would you look at that, he's brought a football. No stadium, no kit, just raw passion and a group of British factory workers. He sets up a 6-a-side on a dusty field next to a textile plant. First recorded game in Brazil, folks. You can't write this stuff. But hold on, charging down the wing now is Charles Miller. Born in Sao Paulo to a Scottish railway engineer, this English-trained teacher arrives later that year after a spell playing at St. Mary's, later known as Southampton. With 2 footballs, a rule book, this is very important, and oh my word, he's not just playing, he's organizing, setting up clubs, leagues, and a whole system. This man isn't just passing the ball, he's passing down a legacy. Donahue may have taken the early lead, but Miller is running now the show. He's got the crowd behind him, the rulebook in his hand, and boom, he delivers a league structure that cements football in Brazil forever. The ref looks at his watch, and there it is, full time. Miller takes the title as the real father of Brazilian football. Gotta feel for Donahue, he played his heart out, made history, and without him, there's no kickoff. But when the final whistle blows, it's Miller's vision, organization, and impact that win him the crown. Football in Brazil, born from Scottish roots, raised by English structure, and destined for samba flair. 30 minutes into the match, and Uruguay joins the build-up. Time to dust off the archives and lace up your leather boots. It's time to revisit the origins of football on the eastern bank of the Rio de la Plata. Our story starts in Montevideo, where British expats and their stitched bladders first puzzled the locals, running madly on the docks and fields under the Uruguayan sun. At first, it looked like chaos, kickabouts, lunacy, and maybe a bit of a heat stroke. But then, boom, enter Mr. William Leslie Poole, a Scottish PE teacher with chalk in one hand and a football in the other. In 1891, he founds Albion Cricket Club, and by 1893, football is in full swing. These weren't just casual games anymore. Poole lit the fire. Montevideo's clubs take shape, fueled by railways and rivalry, but political chaos keeps things from taking off until 1901. Then, the first organized league hits the pitch, and Uruguay's football engine starts rumbling. The sport becomes a battlefield for identity, British roots versus Criollo pride. Club Nacional de Fútbol rises in 1899 as a fist-pumping, flag-waving local answer to Anglo dominance. They are determined to become the first Criollo, which means local, team in South America. By 1903, they're wearing national heroes José Artigas colors, which are red, blue, and white, and they travel to Buenos Aires to stomp Argentina national team 3-2 in an international friendly. You could hear the celebration echo across the Rio de la Plata. These Uruguayans are made to start some of the biggest upsets in football history. Their eternal rival? Central Uruguay Railway Cricket Club. The Railway Boys would morph into Peñarol by 1913. And just like that, Uruguay's greatest football rivalry is born, forged in blood, boots, and barrio pride. Uruguay may have arrived a little late to the kickoff, but once the whistle blew, there was no stopping them. From muddy fields to the Maracanã, the tiny nation would go on to conquer the world. What a first half! The British introduced the game, but can they keep control? The tide is turning and the working class is stepping onto the pitch. The second half promises action, intensity, and a shift in power. And we're back. The working class takes possession. The game spreads beyond the elite clubs, hitting the streets, the schools, and the factories. Football is no longer just a pastime, it's becoming an identity. 60 minutes into the match and the ball belongs to the locals. The British are looking a bit winded. White shirts muddied, monocles fogged. What's this? The locals are pressing high. Boca Juniors charges out from La Boca's immigrant alleys, representing the lower working class. River Plate counters from the Dogs with a forced move to a higher-end neighborhood that will shape their identity as the Millonarios. Racing Club flies in from Avellaneda, all formed by workers, students, rebels. They're not just playing now, they're owning the game. Meanwhile, in Montevideo, Nacional takes the ball with nationalist flair, wearing Artigas colors and aiming for pride, not tea and scones. Across the street, Central Uruguay Railway Cricket Club has already become Peñarol. The derby is born and it's as fierce as it gets. And in Brazil, the factory gates swing open. Remember Bangu? They roll out a multicultural 11. Englishmen, Italians, and Brazilians all lacing up side by side. The crowd sees color on the pitch, not in the stands. That's not just football, it's revolution. As for the Flu-Fla rivalry, they embody what a growing Rio de Janeiro has to offer. with Fluminense representing the economically better shaped Cariocas, whilst Flamengo bearing the flag of the struggling people from the favelas. Side note, Flamengo, originally a rowing club, formed its football team thanks to 10 deserters from Fluminense. Betrayal never comes from the enemy. From private clubs to public fields, from English to Spanish and Portuguese, the Criollos have flipped the script. Football is no longer a guest, it's a part of their identity now. Time is almost up and South America makes history. The ball rolls again, and what's this? Something big's brewing on the sideline. Uruguay's Hector Rivadavia Gomez is setting up cones and whispering to the ref. He's got Argentina, Brazil, and Chile on board. Could this be it? Yes, it's the birth of CONMEBOL, the world's first continental football confederation, way before UEFA even tied its boots. The year is 1916. The first Copa America kicks off in Buenos Aires. Only problem? Too many fans, not enough stadium. Gimnasia's ground overflows. Fans light up the stands, literally, and the final gets postponed. But when they replay it, 10,000 people show up on a weekday. This isn't sport anymore. It's religion with cleats. Uruguayans emerge as champions on a tournament that seems to be custom-made for them. The match is almost up. The British influence has faded. The locals took over, changed the rules of the game, and made football their own. The passion, the dribbles, the goals, the rivalries. Football is no longer just a sport in Latin America. It is a religion, a social force, a way of life. And that's it, the referee blows the final whistle. What started as an imported pastime has become Latin America's most defining cultural phenomenon. From the streets of Buenos Aires to the beaches of Rio de Janeiro, from the docks in Montevideo to the docks in Valparaíso going through Santiago, from the heights of La Paz and Quito to the streets of Bogotá, Asunción and Lima, the game is truly theirs. Until next time, my name is Jose Miguel Arevalo, telling you to keep playing, keep dreaming, and never stop loving football.